All right. We're back here at Song of the Day, coming to you from the Rock Cave. I'm your host, Mark Pierce. It is Friday. Christmas Eve is finally here. We got some snow overnight here in New England, so it finally looks like Christmas just in time. Enjoying this week full of Christmas music, and we're going to throw three more at you today. Do love that Christmas music. I know some of you do too. So what are we talking about today? No particular order, but we got three heavy hitters here today. The first one, let's go with the first one with my shirt right here. Mele Kalikimaka, as sung by Bing Crosby. One of my favorite all-time Christmas songs. The first time I heard this, I started getting into, it's kind of a long journey, but if you remember a cat named Harry Connick Jr., he was around and he got me actually into Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra, and I went back to those guys and started learning all about that just while I was at the end of college, probably, or just after college. So I ended up buying Bing Crosby's Christmas album, and Merry Christmas is what it's called, and that record just was so good to me. There's so many great songs on that one. If you don't know that one, you just play that whole one today. But that had this song on here, and it's so catchy that I would just be singing it all the time, and I just love it to this day. It's a great song, written by this guy who played golf with Bing Crosby. So he wrote it in 1943, and he was just kicking it around, and then he played it for Bing, or sang it for Bing, and he said, he surprised him and recorded it, and ended up putting it out, and he's the one that's the version that you know the most of, even though Bing and the Andrews Sisters version is the standard. So many people have recorded it since then. But this is a good one. I mean, a Hawaiian Christmas song, what's not to like? So good, and anything with the Andrews Sisters in it, for me, you got me. So that's a good one. That's one of my all-time favorites. If you don't know it, you're playing it today. Mele Kalikimaka. Next up, again, another personal favorite of mine, Christmas Rapping by the Waitresses. This one you could not wait to start playing on classic rock radio when it came Christmas time, and every time I would just turn it up, and I just love this, and it is called one of the greatest Christmas songs of all time by many of those rock reviewers. It turns 40 this year, 1981. The Waitresses, they put out 2 albums and 2 EPs, and then they were done. But this was on first on a compilation called A Christmas Record from ZE Records. And then the next year it came out on their EP, 1982 EP, If I Could Rule the World, I Could Rule the World If I Could Only Get the Parts. And this is just a great song about the hustle and bustle of Christmas, and just like what a hassle it is if you're just running around New York City, especially in the last minutes. It's just great. And of course the rapping part is a nice play on words there. Waitresses, you might know 2 of their songs, or at least one other of their songs. I Know What Boys Like. You remember that one? That was always a favorite of mine. And then they also sang the theme song to Square Pegs. Remember that show, Square Pegs, with Sarah Jessica Parker? That's them singing that theme song. So I always love this one. And there's a video out there on YouTube. I'll see if I can find it. Maybe that's the one, because there's no official video from them. Someone did their Christmas lights to this song, so maybe I'll find that one. But anyway, that one's pretty awesome. And speaking of awesome, the next one's a huge song. We're talking Joni Mitchell's song River. What a song. This one is 50 years old this year. Canadian singer put out the record Blue, which is considered one of the top rock and roll records of all time. My wife Sarah, she came to me, or she texted me the other day, and she said she heard this on the radio, and she said that is the single best song ever written, period. So it's hard to argue with it when you listen to this song. It's her second most covered song of all time, and it was never even a single. How about that? Lots of people have sung it afterwards. Her most covered single is Both Sides Now, by the way, but it's based on a breakup of a relationship. In her case, Graham Nash, and then she starts dating James Taylor. and you get that little piano of Jingle Bells, heavily borrowed from Jingle Bells in the background there. And I mean, it's not specifically about Christmas. It takes place at Christmas time, though. So that's why you hear it at Christmas a lot. But you can listen to that song year round if you want. There's no limit. River, Joni Mitchell, so good. I mean, these are some great songs here in the Rock Cave to enjoy today on Christmas Eve. Whatever it is you're doing, comment below, play these songs, tell me what you think. It's hard to beat these three. So give it a listen and tell me what you think. Have a good Christmas Eve, and as usual, I'll catch you on the flip side.